the magic man, tennis preacher, prophet, psychic, coming back to you again with another video. Okay, people, this is another topic that I got from the comment section. Okay, there was one of the people that was commenting, one of the subscribers actually. They were responding to one of the videos I made about I was saying that Federer didn't really have as weak of an era, and it didn't even matter about this weak era thing that Federer played in a weak era, because Federer has topped this era. He's beaten Nadal 4 times in this era, so we don't even have to go back and look at the old era. So, okay, so she sort of said, well, there was no Wawrinka, and there was no Andy Murray, and there was no Djokovic. And she said something about Kyrgios, or Kyrgios was tripping, or he didn't play his highest level or something this year. So I quickly commented back to her that, first of all, Federer, not only did he beat Nadal, then this is funny though, he beat Nadal in the Australian Open. So besides the Djokovic, I think Nadal's level is higher than those other guys, except Wawrinka sometime. But but I responded to her that, first of all, Federer this year in the Indian Wells finals, he beat Wawrinka, and it was a top-level Wawrinka. Why? Go watch it yourself, y'all. Just go watch it yourself. Indian Wells this year, not last year, this year. Federer beat Wawrinka because Federer was laughing at him because during the ceremony, the trophy ceremony, Wawrinka said, "Look at him laughing at me over there." But it was the first time Federer's level was so high, it was the first time he out-hit Wawrinka. Usually Federer doesn't, when he beats Wawrinka, he doesn't out-hit Wawrinka. He usually opens up the court and then run Wawrinka this way, and then, off-spin the ball to this corner. And that's how he usually beat him, sort of that way. Y'all know how Federer plays. And so then I told her that, so he did take her Wawrinka this year. And it was a top-level Wawrinka. Then, the week later, guess who he played? He played a top-level Kyrgios. This was top-level Federer against top-level Kyrgios in the Miami Open. Okay? And a lot of people wanted to see that because, remember, Kyrgios, he took and canceled out because he had some stomach flu in the Indian Wells, because a lot of people wanted to see that this year. Y'all remember now. So he beat a high-level Kyrgios in the score. Listen to the score now. It was 7-6, 6-7, 7-6. Kyrgios almost beat Federer. He choked on a point, I think, in that third set. But but Federer, that was a top-level Kyrgios too. So he took her Kyrgios. Okay, so I let her know that. And then she said about Andy Murray was the other one. Listen, people, Federer, first of all, Federer beat Andy Murray. When he won his 17th major, he beat Andy Murray, and it was a top-level Andy Murray in the Wimbledon. And then not only that, one of Federer's best matches, now he did lose against the Djokovic in the finals. And I'm going to get to the Djokovic, because that's what the video is really about. It's about the Djokovic versus Federer. But I think it was y'all check on it now. It's either I think it was a 215 Wimbledon semifinals or the 214. I think 215, Federer waxed. It was a top-level Andy Murray. Federer waxed Andy Murray in straight sets. Made Andy Murray his biatch. So, commenter made Andy Murray biatch. And then, listen, he beat Andy Murray so bad that people had Federer favored to beat the Djokovic, and he lost against the Djokovic in the finals. So now that leads me to that. I just wanted to say that. I just want to tell y'all how I got to this topic. Now, but I did respond to her with this here. I said the Djokovic, however, you may have a point there, though. Because if the Djokovic was playing at his highest level, would Federer beat the Djokovic? So that's what this topic is about. What I want to see is, I think next year could be not Nadal versus Federer. Now I know Nadal fans, of course, will want to see it Nadal versus Federer, but it could be Federer has already topped Nadal this year 4 times. Okay, I just need to see Federer. I don't need to see Federer on the hard court against Nadal. I already got that down. I want to see Federer on the clay court. I want to see Federer in the French Open Finals against Nadal. We know Nadal's favorite, but that's another video. But that's the only thing I need to see. What is this new Federer, this really mentally sound Federer? How would he do against a Nadal on clay? Okay, but that's another video. Maybe I'll make that video tomorrow. Just sort of get everybody thinking about it. But let's get back to the Djokovic thing. I did tell her now with the Djokovic, she could have a point. That Federer would not have been as successful if a high level the Djokovic would have been here this year. Okay, let me just say something about that, people. Like I just said before, it could be about Federer versus the Djokovic. So here's the first question here, and I'm gonna try to answer all these questions. Is Federer's highest level as high as the Djokovic's highest level? Now I've given the Djokovic a lot of love. Gave him a lot of love a few days ago where I said that Djokovic may have the don't mean he's the greatest player ever, but he may have the highest level ever when he get to his highest level. But now, so my question again was, is Federer's highest level? I mean, you got to go see, sometimes when people match up, maybe this guy's playing at his highest level, maybe this other guy's playing almost at his highest level. But do I think Federer's highest level is as high as the Djokovic's highest level? It's very close. Now, like I said before, when Federer was in that Australian Open down 3-1, and he started hitting those backhands on the Dow under pressure, was that level enough to beat the Djokovic's highest level? Now, let's just talk about, okay, when he actually played the Djokovic. See, I can't even really go on that, because when Federer played the Djokovic, when he lost against the Djokovic, I meant to say, when he actually lost against the Djokovic, those last 3 times in those major finals, I don't know if it 2 Wimbledons and 1 U.S. Open, I think it was. One of those majors, it was ugly from both sides. I think the U.S. Open, it was rained out, so they had the rain delay, and both of the guys was losing serve, and that's not a top level match, especially when Federer is losing serve a lot, and then the Djokovic was losing serve, so both of them was breaking serve. It was like women's tennis. You know how women tennis, how the women can't hold their serve, a lot of them, maybe except for Serena and Muguruza, but a lot of the women can't really hold their serve, so that was an ugly match. And then a couple of the other majors that Federer lost in, okay, it started off even, and then, like I said before, people, listen, most of those, y'all go back, most of those 3 finals that Federer lost against the Djokovic in, I'm talking about, and the Djokovic was known to have the highest level at that time. That was the Djokovic peak. Most of the experts picked Federer to beat the Djokovic. It's because Federer looked so good going into the finals. Now, this is my point, but you probably say, well, Magic Man, what are you saying? Federer lost against I know the Dow fans will say that. So what? He lost against the Djokovic 3 times in the finals. But why am I saying that about the experts had chose Federer to beat the Djokovic? Because he looked better than the Djokovic going into the finals. Because the Djokovic, one of those finals, the Djokovic struggled against Cilic in 5 sets. So people was for sure, well, if he struggled against Cilic, that Federer would definitely beat him. But this is what I think this is the point I'm trying to make. It was hard for me to judge this high-level Federer against a high-level Djokovic because it never has really happened. Because what happened was when Federer got in there, y'all know how Federer is, when his level breaks. Now, somebody could say maybe it broke because the Djokovic level is high. Okay, there's a possibility that could happen. But I've seen Federer level break against other people, not just Nadal. When Federer level breaks, then he starts shanking balls, and he started doing that against the Djokovic. But now, Federer doesn't do that anymore. So I need to see Federer against a high-level Federer against a high-level Djokovic. Now, this is what I predict. I think if Federer played the Djokovic 4 times in 2018, now, like I said before, I don't think the Djokovic is going to come back at that dominant level, but sometime he could step in there at the high level. So let's say both of those guys step in there at a pretty good level. I may take Federer to beat the Djokovic, because I'm going to tell you something, people. Federer has actually matched up well. Besides those 3 majors he lost in, remember when the Djokovic had that 42 consecutive match streak, it was Federer that beat the Djokovic rather easily in 4 sets. It was back, I don't know, 2011 or something. Could have been, yeah, in the French Open. It was the French Open. And then also there was 2 U.S. Opens. This was really bad luck for Federer. I think it was the 2009 U.S. Not 2009. Yeah, it was a 2009 U.S. Open. And then the same thing happened again in the 2011 U.S. Open. Federer had double match point against the Djokovic. And the Djokovic, it was almost like he closed his eyes and swung hard and he hit the line. I mean, and then the same thing happened to Federer again. So Federer really has Federer has that new B game I'm telling y'all about now, not the A game. He has that solid B game. It looks like the A game, but it's solid now. Because Federer used to be this way. If he doesn't have his high level, he usually goes away. So now he got that solid B game, y'all. So I want to see Federer, if he got that high-level B game that's really mentally solid, where he's not shanking balls. So if he doesn't have his A game against the Djokovic, he does have the B game. So then he can stay in there with the Djokovic, not start shanking balls, and start looking like he's ready to get out the court. So that was Federer's weakness. That's why Federer lost against Nadal a lot, because he had a great A game, but if his B game was not really solid. So if his A game wasn't there, and then that A level wasn't there, so then he couldn't stay in the point because he'd get frustrated against Nadal. And the same thing happened against the Djokovic too in some of those. So we just get back to the point. I want to see that matchup. That may be the matchup, Federer against the Djokovic. And of course, the Djokovic is more than capable of winning that rivalry, but Federer is too, I think. So that's going to be really interesting. Okay, people, let's see what happens in 2018. Tennis Preacher, Tennis Prophet.